Welcome back to our Day 49 Explainer. Today, we are stepping right into the incredibly high-stakes world of malware analysis. Now, we aren't just crunching standard data today. We're literally walking into a digital crime scene. Our mission? Decoding the actual weapons used to compromise systems. And let me tell you, doing this requires intense focus, a very cool head, and a highly specific set of procedures.
So, how do we actually go about safely dissecting a digital weapon? Well, think about that for a second. If a bomb squad discovers an explosive device, they definitely don't just start randomly snipping wires in the middle of a crowded street, right? No way. They rely on strict protocols, an isolated environment, and some seriously specialized gear. Malicious software, or malware, is exactly the same. One wrong click during your analysis, and you can accidentally detonate that digital weapon right on your own network, causing absolutely catastrophic damage. So we've got to learn how to poke the bear without getting bitten.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our Masterclass progression today breaks down into 3 distinct phases. First, core analysis techniques. Second, the cybersecurity toolkit. And third, the final malware report.
Starting off with Phase 1, core analysis techniques, or as we like to call it, the interrogation room.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we actually interrogate our suspect to extract every single piece of useful information. We rely on 2 foundational pillars here, static and dynamic analysis. Now, these represent completely different philosophies of investigation. Static analysis is all about examining the malware at rest. You're looking closely at the code, the file structure, the metadata, and you're doing all of this without actually executing the program. It's kind of like examining the blueprint of a bank robbery without the robbery actually taking place. You can learn a massive amount just by looking at the design. But then, on the flip side, we have dynamic analysis. This is where we actually run the malware. We execute the code, and we sit back and watch what happens in real time. We're observing what files it tries to modify, what network connections it tries to make, and what system processes it attempts to kill. So it's the difference between reading that blueprint and watching the actual bank heist unfold live on a security camera.
But here's the catch. If dynamic analysis requires us to execute malicious payloads, we absolutely need isolation. And that brings us to sandboxing. By spinning up a tightly controlled, completely isolated virtual machine, the malware actually assumes it successfully compromised a target host. It starts unpacking itself, trying to reach out to its command and control servers, and basically doing its dirty work. But in reality, it's completely trapped inside our reinforced safe room. This allows us to safely capture every single indicator of compromise during our dynamic investigation, all without risking our actual host machines or a broader network.
Let's move on and see how this builds right into Phase 2, the cybersecurity toolkit, basically our forensic kit.
Tool number 1 is Remnox. This is an absolute staple in the cybersecurity community. It's a highly specialized Linux toolkit that comes pre-configured with the precise reverse engineering tools analysts need right out of the box. That alone saves hours of manual environment setup. It's totally the operating system of choice when you're spinning up that secure sandbox environment we just talked about. Next up in our digital detectives arsenal, we have Ghidra. When we want to perform static analysis, pulling apart the code without running it, Ghidra is the heavy machinery you bring in to get the job done. It's a wildly powerful software reverse engineering suite. Ghidra allows you to take compiled, totally unreadable malware files and decompile them. It translates the machine code back into something a human analyst can actually parse and understand. It literally lets you peer right into the mind of the malware's author.
And rounding out our required toolkit for Day 49 is VirusTotal. While Remnox and Ghidra are for that deep, hands-on, isolated analysis, VirusTotal is our direct connection to the global threat intelligence community. It's this massive aggregator that scans files and URLs against over 70 different antivirus scanners and domain block listing services. So if you extract a suspicious file during your investigation, you just run its digital fingerprint through VirusTotal. Instantly, you can see if analysts halfway across the world have already encountered this exact piece of malware and, more importantly, what they discovered about it. It is an incredibly efficient way to rapidly identify known threats.
So, the crucial point is how we bring this all together. Phase 3, the final malware report. Closing the case.
This all synthesizes directly into our final project workflow. Step 1, you spin up your specialized tools, Remnix, Ghidra, and VirusTotal. Step 2, you apply your static and dynamic analysis techniques within that secure sandbox. And Step 3, you take every single piece of evidence you've gathered and synthesize it into the final deliverable, which is the malware report. This report is the whole shebang. It details the malware's indicators of compromise, what vulnerabilities it actually exploits, and most importantly, how a business can successfully defend against it. This is exactly where you transform raw data into actual actionable intelligence.
As we wrap up today's explainer for day 49, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. If you were sitting at your desk tomorrow and an entirely brand new, unknown, completely undocumented virus dropped right onto your network, what would you do? Which analysis technique would you use first? Would you immediately tear into it statically with Ghidra, or would you throw it straight into a Remnox sandbox to see what it does dynamically? I want you to really think about the risks and rewards of both approaches. Keep that risk-reward balance echoing in your mind as you digest today's material and get ready for day 50.